Welcome back to the news at 10. A quick look at security issues before we move on. The police have dispersed some members of the proscribed Islamic movement in Nigeria who again trooped out onto the streets of Abuja today. The protesters, who carried flags bearing various inscriptions, demanded the release of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who has remained in the custody of the Department of State Services since 2015. They were, however, dispersed shortly after by the police, who shot into the air and fired tear gas. Let's take a look at some sports news now. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Thanks to John. Let's head to Edo State, where the state government has unveiled the mascot and theme song for the 20th National Sports Festival tagged Edo 2020 in Benin City. The unveiling of the mascot, which means strength, heralds the sporting event, which has been slated to take place in March of 2020. Edo State Governor Mr. Godwin Obaseki said that this will mark the homecoming of sports, as Benin City is hosting the games for the third time. Golden Eaglets coach Manu Garba has unveiled his final squad list ahead of the 2019 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Brazil after 2 weeks of intensive camping. In the list published on the website of FIFA, Coach Garba dropped 4 players from the team that earned Nigeria's ticket to the World Cup after finishing in 3rd place at the Under-17 AFCON in Tanzania in the month of March. Bulgaria head coach Krasimir Balakov has resigned amid the fallout of the racist abuse suffered by England players on Monday. England's 6-0 European qualifier win in Sofia was overshadowed by racist chanting, with the game stopped twice during the first half as players considered walking off the pitch in protest of the abuse. A World Football Governing Body FIFA says this year's Women's World Cup in France was watched by a record-breaking 1.12 billion viewers across all platforms. The figure smashes the previous record in Canada in 2015, when more than 750 million people watched the event. And that's a wrap on sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. It's back to you, John.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And on entertainment news tonight, Hollywood actor with Nigerian roots Adewale Akinwuye-Agbaje brings his racism and self-hate movie to his country of origin. Here's Ogechukwu Ose with more.
Well, thank you so much, and here are your trending entertainment stories. Hollywood actor with Nigerian root Adewale Akinwuye-Agbaje is set to premiere his directorial debut movie Farming in Nigeria. The well-received movie, which has already premiered in some other parts of the world, follows the story of a black Nigerian boy farmed to a white British family in the hope of a better future, but instead becomes the feared leader of the white skinhead gang. Agbaje, in a quick interview with Entertainment News on Channels Television, confirms that the movie is inspired by his own personal experience.
You know, there's an element of that in the film for sure. Enaton, played by the wonderful dancer Idris, plays the younger version of myself. And at the time that I was going for an identity crisis in my teens. And what this film Farming is about, it shows the direct correlation between racism and self-hatred.
Meanwhile, young music hopefuls and other musicians paid tribute to late Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti. They wrote out the drums at a side event for the 2019 collaboration. While some of the acts performed songs from other genres, they all credit the king of Afrobeat for his influence in mainstream music generally. But that's all for tonight. The News at 10 continues shortly.
And the main news again. The Deputy Governor of Kogi State, Mr. Simon Achuba, was today impeached by the state lawmakers over alleged gross misconduct. But in a swift reaction, Mr. Achuba dismissed the action by the Assembly, insisting that there was no evidence to back the allegations made against him, as stated by the investigating panel. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Do have a great weekend. Good night.